Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're having a fantastic day so far. I hope that wherever you are in the world today has been treating you well. In today's video I'm going to be talking you through what I think I want to do for my Project Pan series. In 2025 I saw the lovely Sophie Alexandra talk about what she's thinking she's going to be doing, talking through palettes that she wants to pan or put into a Project Pan series, and I thought this was a really good way of getting your opinion because honestly I don't know what I want to do. There's so many options. I've got so many palettes that I'm like, I really want that to be a focus for 2025, and then suddenly I've ended up with a whole stack of palettes in front of me that I'm like, I can't pan them all, so I need your help. What do you think? What palette do you recommend that I go with? What sort of series project do you recommend I go with? Because I think what I want to do, I'm deciding between a few different projects here. So my options are, I'm sticking with my Project 10 uses. I'm sticking with that for 2025 because I'm really enjoying it, and that way I can put in sort of base products, blush, bronzer, brows, mascara, that sort of thing into a project that I only have to use 10 times in 1 month, and that feels very easy to me. It feels very casual, very easy to me, so I'm going to continue doing that one. No pan left behind. I think I want to change it up a little bit. I think I want to take my eyeshadow palette collection and I think I want to do Project Level Up, which is Sophie Alexandra's project that she came up with. I think I want to do Project Level Up, and I think I want to do another like Project Pan eyeshadow palette. Just one palette that I want to hit pan on every single shade. I think that's what I want to do. So I would love to know what you think. I was deciding between I was definitely going to do Project Level Up because I think that it's a fantastic idea, but then I was deciding between like just a traditional Project Pan eyeshadow palette or pan that palette in order. And I don't know if any of the palettes that I've got in front of me here I want to necessarily do in order. I think I'm happy just sort of, you know, going all over the place and picking from sort of everywhere all at once rather than sticking to the in order thing. So again, whatever opinions you've got, I would love to hear. I also do think I want to do a skincare Project Pan because I've got a lot of skincare that I just don't like. Skincare and hair care all like mixed into one. I've got a lot that I don't necessarily reach for too much, and I think, you know, weighing products, seeing the progress actually going down in weight, I think that that would be quite useful to me to get me to use things that I don't necessarily always use. So the palettes, I want to pick one for Project Level Up and I want to pick one for either pan that palette in order or just a regular Project Pan series. Opinions down below. I need help. I don't know. I don't know. I have no thoughts. I'm feeling very overwhelmed by the whole idea of it, but also quite inspired. Is that possible? I don't know. But starting with the one that I think I want to do just a regular Project Pan series with, the Colourpop Sweet Talk Pressed Powder Palette. I have used this a ton and I haven't hit pan on any of these palettes. They are all used, but not anywhere close to being hit pan on. The Sweet Talk palette, I love this. My reservation is I like quite a lot of colour, but I do also feel like I can add colour in with this. Like so many of these shades I could use as like a transition-y sort of thing, and then either add a colourful wing or add in a different palette to add in some colourful shimmer, something like that. I love this palette. I always get compliments on my makeup when I wear this palette because I feel like these tones really bring out the colour of my eyes. It is one that I've had for quite a while, so I am sort of aware of bacteria and lovely things like that. But I think I could make some progress on this. But I don't necessarily know if I want to do it in order, like starting with this one and then going on to this one and then going on to this one. I'm like, I don't know, but just using them all interchangeably and using all of them. But I could also do this in Project Level Up because I feel like a lot of these shades I can just use for an everyday, so it is something that I can dig into regularly. But then I've also heard that Colourpop eyeshadows are very hard to hit pan on, so I don't know. I don't want my first proper eyeshadow palette project pan that's like a year-long thing. I don't want it to be incredibly difficult because then it'll just put me right off, and it's not something that I want to flop on. Like, if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it, you know? So option number 2, again, not necessarily one for pan that palette in order, but if you've seen any videos of me talking about this palette, this might be a little bit of a curveball, but I've got my reasons. This is the Beauty Bay Botanical palette. This is one that they brought out in the summer. I don't love this colour story. I don't love this as a whole palette, but looking at this sort of objectively, looking at this as this shade as one thing and this shade as another thing, you know? A lot of these shades I love. A lot of these shades are ones that I could use just on an everyday basis. I can create a look just within this palette. It has a really, really great matte to shimmer ratio. Again, I don't want to go in order. I don't want to do that. But it is one that I can use. How do I want to phrase this? It's one... What do I want to say? It's been such a long day and I'm not even done yet. It's been such a long day. My brain is absolutely frazzled. I need the biggest cup of tea. I can use this. I just don't love the colour story as a whole, but the shades individually I can get on board with. I really hope that makes sense. I'm not sure that I'm making a great deal of sense today. I need to go and get myself the biggest cup of tea or a rum and coke, who knows at this point. Then this one, I'm like, I could do this in order, but also I feel like it's very 50-50. Like there's two very distinct halves to this palette. This is the Sample Beauty, the Plush palette. Firstly, look at the outside of this. I have used this so much. I've travelled with this. It is absolutely battered and bruised. But this colour story, I can use every single shade in this palette just for an everyday look, just for an everyday wash of something. I love greens and like these like tealy sort of turquoisey bluey green shades with purples, you know. I also love the warmer tones, and then you've got like reddy pinky like neutrally tones. I don't necessarily feel like I could do this in order because I would then end up having like all warm tones, then all pink tones, then greens, and then purples. I do feel like I could mix between the whole palette and get, you know, a green wing and focus on like doing a green wing for like a week or something like that. I am also very aware that this is a larger palette. And again, I don't want to scare myself off, but I don't know how deep any of these pans are. Like I say, I've never hit pan on any of my eyeshadows. I'm still fairly new to this, and I've got quite the collection of makeup, so I'm constantly going between a million different things. But the more I look at this, the more I think I could absolutely focus on this for a year. I love this palette. I love this palette, but also I feel like it's got so much variety. I can do something very, very everyday. I could do something very, very colourful. I don't think they even, like, a Sample Beauty even a brand anymore? Like, does anybody know? They haven't posted on their Instagram. Well, the last time I checked, they hadn't posted on their Instagram since like 2019 or something like that. Like, they just fell off the face of the earth. but I really, really like that palette. I love the colour story. The mattes are so pretty. The shimmers are like foil. I'm like convincing myself here, but also I don't think I would be too sad at like actually finishing it up, you know? So sort of similar with this one. I'm like, I can do something fun because it's got that pop of lilac, or I could do something just incredibly everyday, but also the shimmers are very, very pretty. This is the W7 Moonglade eyeshadow palette. I feel like I could get some really good progress on this. Does anybody know what this is meant to be a dupe for? Like, it's obviously meant to be a dupe for something. I just can't think off the top of my head what it's meant to be. Is it like an Anastasia Beverly Hills palette or something like that? I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, like I could do something incredibly everyday just with like these shades and a shimmer. I really, really like the like khaki green for like deepening something up or adding like a bit of a smoky wing, but I also really, really like the lilac in this. But then I'm like, the shimmers, could I use all of these shimmers? Some of them are quite dark. I mean, I could, I'm just putting roadblocks in the way. I don't know. Again, it's another one. I don't think I could do this in order because then I'd have like shimmer, shimmer, lilac, shimmer, red, you know. But it is one that I could, like, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I think I just can't do it in order. I can't think of a single palette off the top of my head that I would be happy to do that with. So I'm like, see, I'm already like answering my own questions there. I don't think I can do that palette in order. I like the idea of it. Honestly, I think the only way that I would do a that palette in order is if I were to pick like a quad. You know, if I were to pick like a little elf bite-sized palette or something like that. Maybe, perhaps one day. Maybe. I don't need to add in another project. The cogs were turning there. I don't need to do that. I picked this one. And like, I'm gonna sort of skip over. I've got I've got 4 more that I want to talk about. The issue that I have with this and the other 3 that I want to talk about is I love them so much. Like, I love them so much that I'm like, I don't want to use them up. I could absolutely use this up. Like, the colours are the colours are so good. The colours are so good. The shimmers are incredible. But do I actually want this out of my collection? Like, if I think to the end of 2025, do I want this to not be in my collection anymore? Do I want to have used this so much that the pans are hollow? No, I don't. I really, really love it. I really, really love it. Like, just looking at it brings me joy. So many of these shimmers, like, there's only one shimmer that I'm like, that's so dark that I couldn't use it just all across the lid on an everyday basis. The mattes, some of them are bright, some of them are more like neutrally just through the crease sort of a thing. Pops of something really bright on the inner corner, which is what I love to do, like a bright blue matte on the inner corner, blended out the tiniest little bit. I love to do that just on an everyday. But do I want this out of my collection? Honestly, I think I might just take this one out of the running. I don't know. Similar to the first one, how I was saying I can just use it for an everyday and add in any other palette to like spice things up a bit. That's how I feel about this one. This is the MUA Ultimate Obsession 24 shade nude matte eyeshadow palette. So this is all mattes, all of the matte, neutral, warm, grey, purpley tones that you could ever need. If I was getting married, I would use this eyeshadow palette. That is how much I love it. The quality of these eyeshadows is impeccable. It's so beautiful. I mean, I have all of these shades in other palettes. I love that this is all in one. I love that this has every neutral shade that you could ever need. I could absolutely do this one in order. Do I want to? No, because I've already convinced myself that that's not what I want to do in 2025, but I could do a project level up on that. But then again, I don't think I want to. I just love it so much. Honestly, I think I'm coming to the conclusion that I want something that has a little bit of both, like something neutral that I can do just an everyday look with, or something brighter that I can do something more colourful with. Something that has both, you know? I think that's how I want to go. And then the other two options, which like I've already like convinced myself I don't want to use, are the Beauty Bay Retro Love, one of my favourite palettes of all time, and the Cosmic Brushes Delicious Delights again. Deciding between these two, I simply could not. What would be my favourite of all time palette? They're colourful, but I feel like they still have, both of them still have, for me, what I would consider everyday shades. Like I could just pack the like corally or the mustardy or the lilac or the mauve. Like I could do so much with this just for an everyday look. Again, the shimmers in this one, delicious. I really wish that Beauty Bay wouldn't do these like limited editions and then just never see them ever again, because I feel like then I can't use them on my channel, and I want to use that one every single day. The Cosmic Brushes Delicious Delights, I feel similar to, I could possibly do that one in order, but I don't want to. Like, I just don't want to use it up. It's one of those that like sometimes I just come in here and look at. Like sometimes I just come in here and I just swatch sprinkles, like look at that shade. How could you look at that shade and not just be obsessed with it? I'm obsessed with makeup. I'm gonna have to... I don't need more multi-chrome on my eyes. If you saw this whole look, you'll know. I don't need more multi-chrome goodness on my eyes. But we've done it now. So no, I don't want to use this one. I could, if you held a gun to my head, I could. Don't do that, because I don't want to. So they are all of my options. Please help me decide what I want to do. Honestly, I don't know. I think my top three would probably be Botanical, Plush and Sweet Talk. But what's a gal to do? What do I want to do? Please help me. I would love to hear what you think. Which out of these do you think I should have in a project level up, and which do you think I should have just in a regular project pan series? Because now I'm looking at these, I'm like, I don't want to use any of them. They're all so pretty. I don't want to use any of them, but I would love to hear what you think down below. If you are taking part in any project pans in 2025, I would love to hear what you're planning on doing, what vibe you're going for. Are you going to go for like an everyday palette, or are you going to go for like a colourful palette to like get you to use more colour? Because I don't need help with that. I want to use colour all the time. Sometimes I need to like rein it in a little bit and not use so much colour just on an everyday basis. But I would love to hear what your plans are for 2025. I need to go. I've got my cup of tea here that I made like 7 hours ago, and it's cold and empty. So I need to go make myself a big cup of tea. I need to go and find my cats. I don't know where my cats are. And I will see you very soon. Thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.